Hi, willkommen zu Schneid Geschichte. Heute brechen wir ein Interview herunter. Wir haben hier ein Interview mit KASPAROV, dem ehemaligen Schachweltmeister. Und das Interview geht um künstliche Intelligenz. Das Ziel ist, das Interview von allem Müll jetzt erstmal zu befreien. Dazu zählen schon mal alle Fragen, die ich stelle. Also man sieht ja hier jeweils immer schon bei der geringen Waveform, dass ich da spreche. Diese flachen Kurven helfen uns auf jeden Fall dabei, schnell herunterzubrechen. Das Ziel des Herunterbrechens ist, einzelne Themeninseln zu bilden und dabei auch schon Favoriten zu markieren. Ich mache das jetzt hier in Final Cut auf der Timeline, was ich normalerweise nicht machen würde. Ich mache das auf der Timeline, weil ich damit jedem jetzt den Zugang bieten möchte, auch wenn du Premiere nutzt, wo du das auf der Timeline herunterbrechen würdest. Im Final Cut ist das ein bisschen speziell. Aber ich mache das hier, weil das hier auch auf der Timeline schneller geht, und zwar mit dem Tool Trim Clip from Front. Du siehst hier die Waveform von mir. Da mache ich jetzt einen Schnitt und ich kann mit nur einem Klick diesen Teil wegschneiden. Und er verschwindet sofort, fällt auf den Cutting Room Floor und der andere Clip rückt an den anderen. Ich mache das mal rückgängig. Anstatt also einmal zu schneiden, zu markieren und dann den Clip zu löschen, kann ich wirklich mit einem Tastendruck den Schnitt setzen und gleichzeitig verschwindet das, was ich nicht haben möchte. Und das spart mir schon einige Sekunden und darum mache ich das hier auf der Final Cut Timeline. Ich würde das, wenn ich auf der Timeline von Premiere ein Interview herunterbreche, eben genauso vorgehen. Wir setzen gleich Titles und setzen Clips nach oben. Wie gesagt, im Final Cut wäre das eigentlich anders, aber das zeige ich dann in dem nächsten Video in dieser Playlist, wo ich dasselbe Video in Final Cut Manier sozusagen herunterbreche. Die ersten Minuten eines Interviews sind ja manchmal auch zum Warmlaufen, von daher gehört hier in diesem Abschnitt nichts zu meinen Favoriten. Ich parke keinen Clip oben und von daher lasse ich das jetzt mal schneller durchlaufen, bis es dann eigentlich richtig losgeht.
Look, it's in chess, it's the game where you have.
Ich setze hier nochmal direkt einen Marker, wo er anfängt zu sagen in Chess.
Chess, it's the game where you have all the data available, your pieces, opponent's pieces. Still, calculation is a bit tricky because there's no way you can calculate in most of the positions to the very end. So sometimes you have to stop calculating and just make an assessment. Good, not good, And often you have to rely on your intuition because it's very hard, especially in a position with a broken material when, let's say, you have extra material and I have some strong initiative. So so have clear evaluation because sometimes you have to compare apples and oranges. So that's the strengths of a top player is just to understand exactly how far you should go in your calculations. I mean, not to spend too much time calculating.
Stopp hier. Warum Stopp hier? Ich möchte kurz über diesen Teil nochmal drüber gehen. Da finde ich, kann ich schon was rausschneiden. Ich setze hier einen Schnitt,
the strengths of a top player.
Wo er ansetzt, die Stärke eines Top-Players. Ich höre nochmal ab hier.
So sometimes you have to stop calculating and just make an assessment. Good, not good, And often you have to rely on your intuition because it's.
Hier setze ich noch einen Marker. Übrigens kannst du das Video auf YouTube auch schneller abspielen, wenn du hier schneller anschauen möchtest.
And often you have to rely on your intuition because it's very hard, especially in a position with a broken material. When, let's say, you have extra material and have some strong initiative. So so have clear evaluation because sometimes you have to compare apples and oranges. So material and I have some strong initiative. So this position with a broken material. And often you have to rely on your intuition because it's very hard, especially in a position with a broken material. When, let's say, you have extra material and I have some strong initiative. So so have clear evaluation because sometimes you have to compare apples.
Das führt alles irgendwie zu nichts. Ich nehme an dieser Stelle schon etwas weg.
So have clear. Say you have extra material and I have some strong initiative. So in a position with a broken material when good, you know, and often you have to rely on your intuition.
Ich mache da einen Punkt.
The strength of a top player is just to understand exactly how far you should go in your calculations. I mean, not to spend too much time calculating, and also to see, to feel the climax of the game.
Mich stört gerade ein bisschen dass der Kamerawinkel unscharf ist.
Here is the moment where I have to concentrate. I have to spend concentrate. I have to spend remaining time, whatever time is left on my clock, because chess is also a time game. So you have to look at your clock and not to lose on time. So it's not an indefinite time for your calculations. So it's a balance. You look at your clock, you look at opponent's clock, you look at the position, say, okay, here is a moment I have to spend energy, time, because this is,
Ich mache hier einen Schnitt, weil er hier direkt auf das Schachspiel zu sprechen kommt. Und jetzt fange ich an, den gesamten Themenkomplex Schach zu benennen und zu markieren mit einem Titel, den du auch in Premiere setzen kannst. Einzelne Aussagen packe ich in Marker, aber eher komplexe markiere ich mit Titeln. Ich bleibe mal beim Englischen.
So it's a balance. You look at your clock, you look at opponent's clock, you look at the position, say, okay, here is a moment I have to spend energy, time, because this is, this is a climax. This is like a crossroad. You make a wrong move and the whole game goes in the wrong direction. Sometimes, it's the you have to try to calculate far ahead. I mean, my longest combination that I did was nearly 15 moves, but it was not pure calculation because there were some guesses. I could see the final position, but it was like lightning. So it's a game against Bulgarian Grandmaster Veselin Topolov in 1999, 20 years ago. But in most of the positions, you look for 3-4 moves.
Da ist die Story zu Ende. Und weil ich mich gerade erst in das Material einfinde, mache ich hier noch mal kurz einen Unterpunkt. Chess, Calculation versus Idea, Intuition. Wir haben ja vorher auch schon was über Intuition gehört. Das kommt dann nachher dann hin.
But in most of the positions, you look for 3-4 moves, and then you just make an assessment. And again, you have to feel here is not enough to make an assessment. You have to go deeper. So the difference between the best players and the very good players is that you know exactly the right moments where you have to concentrate, or when you just let it go and just to be in some sort of relaxed mood and just to move forward.
Schöner Satz und auch ein schöner Schlusspunkt, eine schöne Punchline eigentlich zu dem Thema, was einen guten Spieler ausmacht und was einen guten Denker ja auch ausmacht.
It's purely intuition again. It's as in many walks of life. So where you don't see the consequence of your decision because it's too far, too many options. It's gut feelings. Now, and again, that's the difference between the really great successful people or simply those are simply good. It's just to understand exactly what is the right moment to to go with with all powers you have. It's like in a battlefield. This is the right moment. This is where I have to throw all my resources, or I have just to take time and just to look for other opportunities.
And I guess you would be saying that. Ich markiere hier die Punchline sozusagen von dem Ton. Wir haben ja jetzt hier 3 Töne, in denen er über die Möglichkeit, Dinge im Voraus zu berechnen, spricht versus Intuition. Und bei den Tönen kommt er jeweils zu unterschiedlichen anderen Themen oder landet eine andere Punchline. Und darum schreibe ich mir die jetzt auf. Darum schreibe ich mir die hier in einen Marker auf. Das ist das erste Interview zu diesem Projekt überhaupt. Es gibt noch keine weiteren Interviews, von daher wissen wir auch noch gar nicht, wohin es führt, das Ganze. Und darum ist es wichtig, dass ich alle Teile alle diese, die ich jetzt schon markiert habe und auch die davor, zur Kalkulation versus Intuition behalte, weil ich es schön finde, wenn ein sprechender, erzählender Mensch von alleine von einem Thema zum anderen navigiert, sozusagen. Und darum lasse ich das hier drin.
Yeah, look, the psychological element is important in chess, but only when you play your equal. So if you play weak opponents, it's all about moves. You make better moves. But when you have players of roughly the same strengths, then psychology is important, especially if you're talking about a long match, like I played with Karpov, when you play game after game for weeks, and next year you come back, and so spending hundreds of hours against the same opponents, so definitely helps you to read him, but it also exposes you to his reading.
Hier mal ein Punkt. Und mir gefällt vor allem dieser zweite Teil. Den finde ich so gut, den hebe ich jetzt ab. Das ist ein Favorit. Also normalerweise würde ich in Final Cut anders vorgehen, um einen Favoriten zu markieren. Aber ich möchte ja diesen Workflow genauso machen, wie ich ihn in Premiere machen würde. Und mache dies hier in Final Cut nur aus, weil ich das hier schneller schaffe.
Spending hundreds of hours against the same opponents, so definitely helps you to read.
Das schreibe ich in einem Marker.
The psychological element is important in chess, but only when you play your equal. So if you yeah, it's at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's still about moves. About it's because set aside psychology. It's you play chess, but going back to the 90s, so when we first had to face computers, and the match with the Blue 97 was not a first encounter. So and the match with the match with the Blue 97 was not a first encounter. So there were many events where top grandmasters, including myself, suffered some defeats against chess engines in blitz, 5 minutes chess, in rapid chess, 25 minutes chess. But we were under the impression that in a so-called classical chess, 7 hours game, so we still be dominant because we have enough time to avoid mistakes. That was really a big misunderstanding, because the difference player is that machine has a steady hand. The difference between because the difference between machine and a human player is that machine has a steady hand. Just if I can apply this very human term to the machine makes no real mistakes, no blunders. it may not play a perfect game. Actually, the game is far from perfect. But human games are always full of mistakes, inaccuracies. That's even when you look at the top games played by the best players in the world in the World Championship match. Some of these games that are considered to be masterpieces, they always contain some sort of inaccuracies. Inaccuracy against
Bis hierhin.
The difference between machine and a human player, they always contain some sort of inaccuracies. Inaccuracy against, not a blunder, not a real mistake, just inaccuracy. Yeah? Inaccuracy against a top player, human player, it's typically just goes away and nobody notices because big deal. So the game is just still moving in one direction. Inaccuracy against machine could actually blow up the result of your hard work for 6 hours. Doesn't mean you will lose, but you can just, the victory can slip through your fingers. So the level of precision the level of precision that is required to fight the machine. That is required to fight the machine is very different from the human game. And that's something that I have to say we all underestimated 25 years ago. So it was going back to match 1997, which was the rematch because I won convincingly the first one in '96, is that it's a demonstration that, it's the level of precision that is required to that always contains some sort of inaccuracies. Going back to match 1997, which was the rematch because I won.
Sorry.
Convinced the first one, 96, is that it's a demonstration that the human machine game is decided by human mistakes. When you going back to match 1997, which was the rematch because I won convincingly the first one in '96, is that it's a demonstration that the human machine game is decided by human mistakes. When you look at these games by using modern chess engines that are far superior than the blue, even the free chess app on your even the free chess app on your mobile is probably stronger than the blue. But when you look for chess engines like Commodore, Stockfish, Houdini, and put them on your laptop, they are just, there's no comparison. So it's the gap between these engines and the blue is massive. And you analyze this.
Ich schneide hier schon das raus.
And you analyze these games. And you analyze these games we played. And you analyze these games we played 1997. You find out that the games that many people in '97 believed were really good games, they were just full of mistakes. It's one of the games of the match where actually I could sense that I was missing a win in Game 5, but Deep Blue didn't see it, and chess engines in '97 didn't see it, and everybody said Deep Blue played a great defensive game. Now, put it on your chess engines. Within 30 seconds to a minute, they'll show you that white actually had a very, very good chance of winning. It's not 100% win, but it's a good pass to a winning position. So it's, I probably was stronger in 1997 if you objectively, if you just look at the strengths. But at the end of the day, it's not about your strengths. It's about your ability to play with your strengths, with full strengths in this very game. And I have to admit that my preparation for the match. But at the end of the day, it's not about your strengths. It's about your ability to play.
Okay, diesen Teil möchte ich jetzt schon ein ganz klein bisschen näher nochmal betrachten.
And you analyze these games we played in 1997, you find out that the games that many people in 1997 believe were really good games, they were just full of mistakes. It's in one of the games of the match where actually I could sense that
Ich glaube hier, denn wenn ich diesen Teil interessant finde, dass Leute heute Schachcomputer auf dem Handy haben, die besser sind als Deep Blue und nicht erst heute, sondern auch schon vor einigen Jahren. Das finde ich durchaus eine interessante Info, aber wenn es eine interessante Info ist, ich gehe an dieser Stelle davon aus, dass es nicht so interessant ist, dass wir dann von dort aus weitergehen, wie Kasparov hier gerade noch weitergeht.
It's in one of the games of the match where actually I could sense that I was missing a win in game 5, but Deep Blue didn't see it, and
Na?
that I was actually I could sense.
Ich mache jetzt trotzdem einen Cut.
And you analyze these games we played in 1997, you find out that the games that many people in 1997 believe were really good games, they were just full of mistakes. Going back to match 1997, which was the rematch because I won convincingly the first one, 96. Strengths in this very game, and I have to admit that my preparation. Actually, I could sense that I was missing a win in game 5, but Deep Blue didn't see it, and Chess Engines in 97 didn't see it. And everybody said Deep Blue played a great defensive game. Now, put it on your chess engines. Within 30 seconds to a minute, they'll show you that white actually had a very, very good chance of winning. It's not 100% win, but it's a good pass to a winning position. So it's I probably was stronger. I probably was stronger in 1997 if you objectively, if you just look at the strengths. But at the end of the day, it's not about your strengths. It's about your ability to play with your strengths, with full strengths in this very game. And I have to admit that my preparation for the match was not perfect. I underestimated the progress they made over a year, and the fact is that they declined my offer to play the third match, decisive match. I won the first one, was the second one. Was another proof that they were also objective, evaluating the strengths, because I think I had a very good chance of winning the third match. And later on, I played 2 more matches with computers, not as publicized because there was no IBM PR machine behind it, against Deep Junior and Deep Fritz, 2 leading programs at the time in 2003. Both matches ended as a tie. 2-2 and 3-3. And by the way, I had an initiative in all this in both matches. But again, this is the games I lost. They were results of blunders, of tired human. Though it's in both matches were 2 decisive games. I won 1, lost 1, and the rest were draws. And at that time, I already knew that the era of human-machine competition would be over soon. And at that time, I already had a very good chance of winning.
Ich mache hier einen kleinen Gap. Was glaubt er nochmal?
Human-machine competition would be over. Over soon, because it's when you look at human-machine relations, is that it's when you look when you look at human-machine relations, is that it always goes through the same kind of cycle. First, you see machines are jokes. Okay, it's funny. Then they can do your job, but they're weak. Laughing the weak. And then there is a very short window of competition. It's where you can compete. And then machines are much better forever after. So the third stage is the shortest one. But because it's in a human versus machine, we concentrate on that, and that's why we always obsessed with this, with this short window of opportunity. By historical time is it's a dot on history, just a tiny dot on history timeline.
Ich mache hier einen Schnitt. Und zwar ist das hier mein Moment.
And at that time I already knew that the era of human-machine competition would be over soon. And at that time I already knew that the era of human-machine competition would be over soon. Because it's when you look at human-machine relations, is that goes through the same kind of cycle. First, you see machines are jokes. Okay, it's funny. Then they can do your job, but they're weak. Laughing the weak. And then there is a very short window of competition. It's where you can compete. And then machines are much better forever after.
Das finde ich eine gute Punchline. Ich mache mir hier noch meine eigenen Hashtags, die mir Hinweise darauf geben, wie ich diesen Ton verstehe.
Is a really big issue today, because a very popular question that I hear at my presentations is that it's about machines and creativity. Can machines be creative? Can machines be creative? Some people will say, it's like a question mark. Is it possible? Some say, when is it going to happen? For them, it's already, it's just a matter of time. My answer is that I don't think that machines can be creative. I don't think that machines can be creative at all. For a simple reason, because the creativity means that you are doing something new. Something new means that you don't know the outcome. Which means it's maybe success, maybe failure. So, and the moment you imply failure, machines do not fit, because machines do not operate in these terms. Machines always looking for better odds. So they evaluate the position based on patterns and evaluations that have been built in. Even when you look at the sort of the most sophisticated newest generation of computers, like AlphaZero, the machines that can use the rules and then generate their own system of evaluation, generate a new set of knowledge, it's a new data. It's still, they still operate within the closed system. So they're not creating something new. They are generating new knowledge within the parameters that we define for them. So I think that the idea that machines will be creative is just contradicts the very nature of machines' decision-making process. So I think that the idea that machines will be creative is just contradicts the very nature of machines' decision-making process. Now, let's separate two things. It's the moves that machines make in games like Go, chess, shogi, the Japanese chess. It's the moves that machines make in games like Go, chess, shogi, the Japanese chess, in video games. They're based on the patterns that these machines are reading. And as I said, AlphaZero, it's a program that has been designed to play against itself, to generate new knowledge, knowing only the rules of the game. So even when AlphaZero played other chess engines, chess, not Go chess. So this is, I look at a few moves and I was genuinely surprised. So, but it's all about, just following patterns that machine, just, it's all about, just following patterns that machine reads from millions of games it plays against itself. And each move has an objective value. I mean, after some time, I could understand why machine did that or that. So this is, though with machines like AlphaZero, with this new generation of machines that are generating their own set of information, unlike old machines like Deep Blue or something similar, machines that simply processed human-generated knowledge. But what brings them together is that, it's this, I will be able to actually recognize the rationale. More difficult with AlphaZero. It takes, real knowledge and just, you have to look at the game. So just, you cannot simply go down, this, and to find out exactly, so that something happens. So this, because with Deep Blue is always, you go down and you find out, then I was told doing so. So that's the, AlphaZero creates its own understanding, but still, I don't understand the rationale.
Hier einmal Stopp.
AlphaZero.
Ich mache hier nochmal einen Schnitt. Weil er hier so detailliert über AlphaZero spricht.
understanding, but still, you know, I don't understand the rationale. Because every move has objective value, winning or losing. Now, the moment you go into music, I'm sure there will be people who like the music. Yeah, so that's the, because it's quite subjective. It's question, if you ask me, can machines make movies? Yes, they can. I'm not sure it will be great movies because here we are in the gray area where, you know, it's very much is defined by our tastes and by, you know, by visual impressions. The best movies in history, not necessarily the most expensive movies. So movies like Casablanca, they were shot in a couple of rooms, and they're still, you know, the masterpieces. So is this spending millions and millions of dollars doesn't mean that you create the best movie, and you can try to, you know, follow the same pattern as in a great movie, but it will not have the same synergy. There's the elements that is just, you know, it's like they're very they're fluid, so it's they can evaporate, you know, just in a different atmosphere. Something changes, you know, you just change one chair, remove, and something changes in the room. Something changes in our, you know, in the way we look at the main characters in this movie or this play. So machines can do tons of things. AlphaZero creates its own understanding, but still, you know, I don't understand the rationale. Because every move has objective value, winning or losing. Now, the moment you go into music, it's question, if you ask me, can machines make movies? Yes, they can. Like, machines can do tons of things, and I'm sure there will be millions of people who would like it. I still think the majority will have doubts about it. So that's why I trying to be so more it's trying to apply scientific methods. So trying to apply scientific methods. So it is, I suggest we divide activities, machines activities, in two sections. One is the machine operates in the closed system. Any game, chess, Go, shogi, Dota, video games, whatever. And I think the conclusion is clear, at least to me. In any closed system designed by humans, machine will prevail. If we know how to do that, machines will do it better, faster. Not perfect, again, that's important to not to make a mistake. It's not about 100% perfection. There's nothing that can reach 100% perfection in this universe, but it will be better than humans. So that's what one should expect from machines, not to solve the game, not to be perfect in, let's say, in self-driving car, but it's making less mistakes than human. Now, then we move to open-ended systems. And here I don't see machines operating on their own for many reasons. One of them is one is any game, chess, and I think the conclusion is clear, at least to me. In any closed system, in any closed system designed by humans, machine will prevail. If we know how to do that, machines will do better, faster. Not perfect, again, that's important to you, not to make a mistake. It's not faster. Not perfect. Again, that's important to you, not to make a mistake. It's not about 100% perfect effort. It's not about 100% perfection. There's nothing that can reach 100% perfection in this universe, but it will be better than humans. In any closed system, so that's what one should expect from machines. Not to solve the game, not to be perfect in, let's say, in self-driving car, but it's making less mistakes than human. Now, then we move to open-ended systems. And here I don't see machines operating on their own for many reasons. One of them is machine doesn't recognize when it reaches the territory of diminishing returns. It will continue doing the research while you need humans to say stop. So it's, you can, in other way you can say machines know how to ask questions, but they don't know what questions are relevant for this very moment. Open-ended systems. And here I don't see machines operating on their own for many reasons. One of them is machine doesn't recognize when it reaches the territory of diminishing returns. It will humans to say stop. They're not dumb. They are just, it's the machines are dumb. You said they're dumb because they're perfect. Again, they're dumb because they're perfect. Again, this is machines are always searching for perfection. It's all because they're dumb because they're perfect. Again, this is machines are always searching for perfection. It's all about numbers. It's about odds. Machine always knows the odds. Sometimes it makes them dumb because the odds do not work in your it's in your favor if you want to make sort of the best decision. Sometimes you have to go against the odds because it's the one thing I just always use in my presentations is the famous moment from Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars, when Han Solo is bringing his spaceship into the asteroid field, trying to escape from Imperial guards, and the C-3PO, the robot. It tells him its chance of surviving there, it's just almost none. 3,720 to 1. And the answer is never tell me the odds. Now, the important of this moment is that machine knows the odds. Chance of surviving in the asteroid field are minuscule. Just, it's almost, certain death. But machine doesn't understand that it's only option. When Han Solo is because it's Sometimes you have to go against the odds because it's sort of the best decision. You know, the one thing I just always use in my presentations is the famous moment from Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars. It's the famous moment from it's the there, you know, it's there. The machines sometimes you have it's only option, because if you go back you'll be caught and then you'll be tortured and you'll die. So dying in 10 minutes for machine is better than dying in 10 seconds. But human recognizes the value of the one. So sometimes you should look for the odds and understanding that the outcome of potential success is so big that you have to take this chance. But how can, from machine's perspective, no. I mean, it's if the moment people say, oh, sometimes people say no, but they will recognize it. They recognize it, there will not be machines anymore. Because that's exactly the strengths of the computers. They know the odds, and that's why they are perfect in actually giving exact, you know, recommendations. So based on the statistical outcome or patterns that machine can analyze. Because that's if the moment people say, oh, sometimes people say no, but they will recognize it. They recognize it, there will not be machines anymore. Because that's exactly the strengths of the computers. The strengths of exactly because that's human recognizes the value of the one. Because that's exactly the strengths of the computers. They know the odds, and that's why they are perfect in actually giving exact, you know, recommendations. So based on the statistical outcome or patterns that machine can analyze. I mean, first of all, we should try to be objective. I mean, it's right now you have two trends. The smaller I mean, first of all, we should try to be objective. I mean, right now you have two trends. The of humanity. You have two trends. The smaller group is preaching AI as a salvation of humanity. So it will solve our problems. The much bigger crowd is a bunch of doomsayers. It's just the end of the world, the end of humanity. It's just the Terminator, the Matrix. The world will go bust. AI will dominate it. It's all, you know, just, you know, all dark, you know, gloomy. It's just, I think, you know, we should not, you know, just try to pretend, you know, it's way to heaven, but it's also not about opening gates of hell. Let's stay on Earth. Let's be practical. So it's a technology. It's not a magic wand, but it's not a Terminator. It's not a harbinger of utopia or dystopia. It's another technology, and we should treat it as it is. So it will inherit all our vices. If we have a bias, racial, gender, whatever, it will inherit all our vices. If we have a bias, racial, gender, whatever, it will inherit it. But complaining about being biased, it's like complaining about a mirror. We don't like what we see in the mirror. It's two ways. Either we improve us, you know, we try to look better, or we try to distort the mirror. Inherit it will inherit all our vices. If we have a bias, racial, gender, whatever, it will inherit it. But complaining about being biased, it's like complaining about a mirror. We don't like what we see in the mirror. It's two ways. Either we improve us, we try to look better, or we try to distort the mirror. So far, it's the latter. So we just, no, it just says we should look for ethical AI. What will mean ethical AI? AI cannot be more ethical than the person who is designing it. So So how can expect AI to become sort of a judge in ethical questions if we still haven't resolved them between us? So, and also I think it's just when we look at AI, it's always concentration on negatives. Oh, cyborgs. And also I think it's just when we look at AI, it's always concentration on negatives. Oh, cyborgs. Yes, anything can happen because AI, it's could be manipulated by humans to do evil, but humans still have monopoly for evil. The problem is not AI turning into a Terminator. The problem is bad humans using AI for their destructive goals, which is a real problem today, and I think and I think we should also look at the great contribution from these technologies to humanity. It's one of the things that people underestimate is how much AI helps people, handicapped people. So all of a sudden, to humanity, it's one of the things. How much AI helps people, handicapped people. So all of a sudden, you could have blind people that can see because the vision is transformed into the sound. We could have deaf people to hear because the sound transferred in the vision. So millions of people with great talents, yes, that were totally cut from the workforce. Now they're going back to normal life. So there are always pro and cons. Yes, it's this. We know that it's not. Every technology brought both destruction and joy and success and improvement to humanity. There are always pro and cons. Both destruction and joy and success and improvement to humanity. So it's very important to recognize that it's for a long time it will be for us humans to make all the difference and to actually. There are always pro and cons. Yes, it's this. We know that it's not. Every technology brought both destruction and joy and success and improvement to humanity. So it's very important to recognize that it's for a long time it will be for us humans to make all the difference and to actually decide how this AI will be used. By trying to shift all the blame to the AI because we watch too many Hollywood movies, I think it's just it doesn't serve the purpose. It's a long time it will be for us humans. So it's very important to recognize that it's for a long, long time to humanity. So it's very important to recognize that it's for a long, long time it will be for us humans to make all the difference and to actually decide how this AI will be used. For a long, long time it will be for us humans to make all the difference and to actually decide how this AI will be used. And I think that we should also look at the great contribution from these technologies to humanity. It's one of the things that people underestimate is how much AI helps people, handicapped people. So all of a sudden you could have blind people that can see because the vision is transformed into the sound. We could have deaf people to hear because the sound transformed into vision. So millions of people with great talent, yes, that were totally cut from the workforce. Now they're going back to normal life. So there are always pros and cons. Yes, we know that. It's not it's every technology brought both destruction and joy and success and improvement to humanity. For a long, long time it will be for us humans to make all the difference and to actually decide how this AI will be used. But trying to shift all the blame to the AI because we watch too many Hollywood movies, I think it doesn't serve a purpose. Why are you losing? It's the fact is that you can get access to world knowledge. It's the fact is that you the fact is that you can get access to world knowledge within a few seconds. I mean, doesn't make you sort of just a diminished personality. So it's this technology over centuries, if not millennials. The fact is that you can get access to world knowledge within a few seconds. I mean, doesn't make you sort of just a diminished personality. So it's this technology over centuries, if not millennials, empowered people to do other tasks. So we could travel around the world. We could fly in the skies. We could even, go to the moon now, hopefully to other planets. So there are many great things, happen because of technology. By the way, as you said, you're diminished, but look at the, lifespan. In Europe and America, in most of the developed countries, people live now over 70, 80, 90 years. Yeah, why? I mean, it's this because of technology. I always say that technology is the main reason why so many people are still alive to complain about technology. So there are many great things happen because of technology. The fact is that you can get access to world knowledge within a few seconds. I mean, doesn't make you sort of just a diminished personality. So it's this technology over centuries, if not millennials, empowered people. Technology over centuries, if not millennials, empowered people to do other tasks. So I always say that technology is the main reason why some people are still alive to complain about technology. So it's just, we have a better diet. I mean, we achieved phenomenal things. Look at the number of people who were taken out of extreme poverty over the last few decades, thanks to technology. So it's this, but again, everything comes at cost. So we improve, living standards, but sometimes we do something. We create conditions that are maybe detrimental for the climate. So because we have too much garbage, so left here and there. So, but there's no free lunch. But we move forward. It's very important to understand that technology helps us to move forward. Now, what's the problem that the kids don't have to calculate now? They can just ask okay, Google or Siri. Yeah, I know from most of the capitals in the world but I don't I try for my kids to have the same knowledge of geography. But it's not about knowing things. It's about understanding how to apply the knowledge. It's not about so we could travel on the world. We could and get access to world knowledge within a few. It's not about knowing things. It's about understanding how to apply the knowledge. The fact is that you can get access to world knowledge within a few seconds. It's not about knowing things. It's about understanding how to apply the knowledge. That's why I think instead of complaining about technology, let's concentrate on reform. It's not about knowing things. It's about understanding how to apply the knowledge. That's why I think instead of complaining about technology, let's concentrate on reform of educational system. Because the educational system today, old-fashioned system. You go all back to 19th century, the traditional system built in Prussia and then moved to other countries to educate kids for industrial world. Doesn't work today because the kids can get all the information from this little screen. But it's about application. It's not about teaching what, it's about teaching how. So that's a challenge. Because technology also has to force us to make changes in the fabric of our society, and starting with kids, because every generation now has new jobs. It's not like I had the same jobs as my father and grandfather. Most likely by my kids, they will have a job that doesn't exist today. So this is my son who turned 4 last July, or my daughter who's 13. They most likely will be looking for jobs that will be created over the next decade, thanks to technology. So it's not about teaching them, how you can do this or that, but it's about how can you apply this vast knowledge that is available to you to be most productive. Thanks to technology. So it's not about teaching them, how you can do this or that, but it's about how can you apply this vast knowledge that is available to you to be. It's not about teaching. Knowing things. It's about understanding how to apply the knowledge. That's why I think instead of complaining about technology, let's concentrate on reform of educational system. Because the educational system today, old-fashioned system. You go all back to 19th century, the traditional system built in. Because the educational system today, old-fashioned system. You go all back more. You go all back to 19th century, the traditional system built in Prussia and then moved to other countries to educate kids for industrial world. Doesn't work today because the kids can get all the information from this little screen. But it's about application. It's not about teaching what, it's about teaching how. So that's a challenge because technology also has to force us to make changes in the fabric of our society, and starting with kids, because every generation now has new jobs. It's not like, oh, I had the same jobs as my father and grandfather. Most likely by my kids, they will have a job that doesn't exist today. So this is my son who turned 4 last July, or my daughter who's 13. I mean, they most likely will be looking for jobs. It's not about knowing things, it's about understanding. For the world doesn't work today because the kids can get all information.
Okay, ich denke und hoffe, dass bis hierhin klar geworden ist, wie ich Titles und Marker verwende und wo in etwa das Ganze hinführen wird. Wenn du durch bist mit diesem Schema, dann hast du von dort ausgehend mehrere Möglichkeiten, weiter mit deinem Material zu verfahren, und darauf gehe ich noch in anderen Videos ein. Wenn du spezielle Fragen hast, Anregungen, Kritik oder auch das Video magst, dann hinterlass mir einen Like, abonniere mich, schreib mir eine E-Mail oder schreib mir einen Kommentar. Lieben Dank!